two sticks ahead of mine already, right? This is the stick that my neighbor had here.
I'll call Dave. I've got his number already in there.
Yep.
Yes.
Just about ready to head up council.
Small crowd.
Yeah. Yeah, I literally talked
Hello,
to,
Miss Cindy. How are
Sherry
you?
Ward today about that too.
I'm
So,
good. I've got you on office speaker, and we're just calling Dave, and then we'll start the meeting.
Hi, Dave. We are about ready to start here. Just now beat 6 p.m. Cindy is also on the phone, kind of not too far from you. And we have Sam present, we have Darla present, and we have Linda present, as well as myself, a few people in the gallery. And we're going to begin by standing and facing the flag for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. So that was starting at 6:01 in 17 seconds, so we will call it 6:01 p.m. Excuse me. Has everyone had an opportunity to look at the agenda?
Yes.
Is there any addition and or correction that anyone would like to make regarding the agenda? If not, I will need a motion, a second, and vote to approve the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second it.
A motion has been made and seconded to approve the agenda as written. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, we're going to do a roll call vote. Linda, how do you vote?
Aye.
Cindy?
Aye.
Dave?
Aye.
Darla?
Aye.
All voted aye. Dave, Cindy. I forgot to write that you're on the phone on my notes here. All right, in that case, we will move on to item number 4, Alderman resignations. We had gotten an email and a letter from 2 different aldermen resigning their positions. I don't know if anybody needs to discuss either of those letters or wants to discuss them at all at this time or later, whatever, whenever. But I would need a motion and a second and a vote to accept those 2 resignation letters.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I make a motion to accept the resignation of Brian Johnson at Ward 2 and Curtis Kaiser at Ward 3 and thank them for their service.
I'll second it.
Motion has been made and seconded to accept, pardon me, Brian Johnson, Ward 2 resignation letter, and Curtis Kaiser, Ward 3 resignation letter. It's been seconded as well, and is there any discussion? If there is no discussion, Linda, how do you vote?
Aye.
Cindy?
Aye.
Dave?
Aye.
Darla?
Aye.
4 vote yes. Resignations are accepted. The next section you'll see, it says motion to advertise for alderman vacancies. We would need a motion and a second and a vote for that.
I make a motion to advertise for the alternate vacancies.
I'll second it.
Motion has been made and seconded to advertise for those alderman vacancies. Is there any discussion?
I just have a question. Can you please state who's making the motion and who's seconding? Because I'm writing them for my notes.
Yes, in fact, let's vote on this, and then I'll take us back to item number 3, and I'll give you all of that information. That's a good point. I apologize.
Thank you. Okay.
Is there any other discussion? Hearing none. Linda, how do you vote?
Aye.
Cindy,
Aye.
Dave,
Aye.
and Darla.
Aye.
4 vote aye. So Cindy, for item number 3, Linda made the motion, Darla seconded.
Okay.
Item number 4A, Dave made the motion, Darla seconded.
Okay.
Item 4B, Linda made the motion, Darla seconded. I see a pattern here.
Okay.
We are now into item number 5, public input. Is there any public input? Yes, sir.
Mr. Mayor, as a reporter for the newspaper, I'd be interested in you making a statement or two related to why these recently appointed alderpersons have resigned.
I guess the best thing would be to probably talk to them and get the straight information right directly from them. But I think I've said many times that people that, and I was no different, when I became an alderman for the first time many, many years ago in Emory, I got on the council thinking I was going to change everything just overnight, and it doesn't happen very quickly. And quite often, that's a disappointment to people, how slow the cogs and the wheels turn. I don't even want to hazard a real guess as to the underlying reasons, but I guess it would be best to probably discuss that with them.
Are their emails public?
I don't know the answer to that. Is that a public document?
It depends. The resignation letter is probably public. I'm not aware of any emails, so I'm not sure what you're referring to with that.
Well, the resignation letters.
Well, there was only one real letter sent via, and I don't know, I think it was delivered, wasn't it? It wasn't, or was it mailed? No, it was also emailed, but it was a letter. Everything else was sent via email. Is that public information?
Yeah, generally it probably would be if it was correspondence to the council, or the mayor, then generally it would probably be.
Sure. So that would be something you probably could get.
Okay.
Is there any other public input at this time?
Yes, Vicki Larsen. Some questions first. I'm still looking for the FOIA or sunshine of the water bill. I talked to a gentleman from down south, and that is public information.
Who'd you talk to?
I talked to Jerry Miller.
Okay, and so the county attorney was giving you legal advice?
No. I asked him if I had this
Sounds like
issue.
you asked him for a legal conclusion.
No, I did
before
not.
the
I did not.
Okay.
And I issued a FOIA for credit card statements. I'm still waiting on that. It is indeed, and I will expect those. And it is indeed unfortunate that we've lost 2 council members because they had great possibility of changing things. I am questioning, I would like to question, is Wanda on the clock? Is she taking notes? Or why do we have 2 employees taking notes when we could have Mr. Nelson take notes and kill 2 birds with 1 stone? Kind of curious on that. Seems like a waste of money. I do have another question, and it's It comes under the heading of gifting and exchanging of gifts. And I've heard by the grapevine inappropriate gifts being gifted. And I certainly hope, and I have also been, that the council has been made aware of this and has evidently chosen to do nothing. I'm just warning, I am aware of it. I had one other thing. And it escapes me. If you would like to ask me questions, there is an executive session scheduled toward the end of the meeting tonight. So if you want to go talk personnel and want to ask me questions, I'd be more than happy to take part.
Ms. Larsen, are you in receipt of the letter from the city that explains pretty thoroughly that private citizens' water bills under 127 are not public information?
I have Pat's opinion, but
Okay,
you
well,
know, what can I say?
Yeah, I mean, that was written by me, you know, that information was provided by me. So
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you now, so that you've got it on video and so that it's been stated in public. Your request for citizens' water bills fall outside of what I believe is public information.
And I respectfully disagree,
and
I will, since you pushed me, I will file.
I'm talking
Just
right
don't
now.
interrupt him.
So please extend me the courtesy of letting me finish explaining this to you, okay? You've been told several times that we're not going to provide that because it's not public information. So if you want to go to the hearing examiner again, and the hearing examiner may very well prove me wrong, you know, I'm not infallible, but continuing to make the same request, the exact same request after you've been told we don't believe that a citizen's private water bill is something you're entitled to, it doesn't make any sense to continue to come here and do that. So I would invite you to please contact the hearing examiner and we'll get this sorted out. I may very well be wrong. I want to make sure I understand what you said. It seemed to me that you said you sought legal advice or opinion from the state's attorney as to whether or not a citizen's private water bill was public information. I want to make very clear I understand what you're asserting Mr. Miller told you and in what capacity. So please explain that to me.
I asked him, I told him I expressed a concern to him. And that's all we did. Because I told him, I understand you cannot give legal advice. I'm not asking for legal advice. And I said, I'm merely bringing this to your consideration. And I left it at that. I didn't ask for advice because I know he can't give it.
Okay, so what were the specific words that you said?
The specific words I said is on the water thing. I get my water bill through the mail and it's on a postcard. Now, if you want to handle that way, because it becomes public information. Now, I can do, I think it's called an initiative, and then all the water bills will be put in envelopes and stamped.
Okay, so
Because when I talked about the water bills to begin with, I explained that, and it went along with a previous request I'd made about notices of overhanging trees, and that is public information.
So I want to make sure I'm understanding your assertion is because the manner in which the citizens are delivered their water bill, it's your opinion or Mr. Miller's opinion that that's what makes them a public record. Is that what you're
It's
telling
my
me?
opinion. It's my opinion.
Okay.
And other cities have done the same thing, and that's been determined as being public information.
Okay.
So I'm just going on previous
What city specifically?
Sioux Falls. And it's linked to property maintenance and water bill. I'm not asking whether they're current or on the water bill. I'm just asking if water's being supplied and if it's being billed. That's the only thing that I asked for. And I asked for on non-residential. While it's in residential, it's the garages. And I wanted to know how many are hooked up and how many aren't and how many are being refused. Just simply asking questions, and that seems to be a problem.
No, it's just I don't think that information you've requested is public. Continuing to ask whether or not the same request is gonna be answered differently is, we're not gonna answer it differently. So I think your next option is to please go to the hearing examiner if you feel that we're wrong, and we very well could be. I don't think we are, but, you know, we provided you with an answer and you continue to ask, and I just was curious why. And thank you for clarifying. I'm gonna be speaking with Mr. Miller and, you know, asking what information he was given and what response he gave.
Yeah, we had a telephone conversation, and like I said, that I asked him, I had a complaint, and took it to him, because evidently the city doesn't have the capacity to operate, so. Thank you very much.
I would like to respond to your recent one, your FOIA. I received it on Friday, and I will be out of town, so we would have to set up a time to meet that first week in October.
Okay, it's fine.
Cindy and Dave, did you hear most of that or all of that?
Mr. Mayor, I heard most of it, yes. Could you identify the people that had public input?
Yes. Gordon Richard asked about the resignation letters and the reasons that the individuals resigned. And then Vicki Larsen was the one that brought up FOIA about the water bill, FOIA about credit card statements, statement about how sad it is 2 council members left, Wanda being on the clock, and then inappropriate gifts. And then Sam Nelson addressed Vicki Larsen's FOIA water bill request, and hopefully you heard Sam's response.
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, if I could, just one more.
Why I didn't get an inappropriate gift.
Well, you gotta know people, evidently. Yes?
I had one statement for David. David, Councilman Larsen, I left some documents that regarded the Facebook situation. There were 4 Facebook entries to the city of Alcester, and it establishes when those were created. And I left that at your place at the table. I was unaware that you were not going to make the meeting tonight. So that is on the table at your seating place.
Okay, thank you.
Is there any other public input? Right, not. We're going to go on to discuss something called full-time police officer.
What is that?
We don't know.
Well, I brought before you today Mr. Grayson Lass.
Could you spell, it's Grayson, G-R-A-Y?
S-O-N.
S-O-N?
Well, it's,
There's a lot of names.
you guys might want to write down the full name. Tracy Grayson Cannon Lass.
Okay, Tracy, T-R-A-C-Y,
Yep,
Grayson,
yep, Grayson.
yep, got that one.
And then middle name Reed, R-E-I-D.
R-E-I-D,
Last name Cannon Lass, C-A-N-N-O-N hyphen L-A-S-S.
no, Cannon, C-A-N-N. Okay.
I might be interrupted here, so I might just be right back.
Oh.
So, Grayson, you're
So,
up.
Cindy and Dave, the individual that was just introduced prior to the chief being summoned via his phone, and he may be in the middle of something here in just a little bit, we don't know, but his full name is Tracy, T-R-A-C-Y, Grayson, G-R-A-Y-S-O-N, Reed, middle name, R-E-I-D, and then the last name is hyphenated. I'm assuming there's a hyphen in there, okay?
Yep.
So it's Cannon, like the kind that you would shoot, C-A-N-N-O-N hyphen LASS. How do you pronounce the very last part? Lass?
Yep,
Lass.
yep. And I just go by Grayson Lass.
Oh, gotcha.
It's a little bit easier that way.
That's easier.
Yeah.
Okay, so he just said he goes by Grayson Lass.
Yeah.
Oh,
So the chief is back. Evidently it was wrong number.
No, just a quick little thing, but Mr. Grayson set forth a good example for himself, I believe, in front of the committee and I.
Austin, can you speak up, because I know from experience, they're not gonna hear
Yeah,
you.
they're not hearing that.
I'll get the back.
Sorry, but I
So
just,
the chief is gonna come a little closer here so you can hear this, folks.
So Grayson set forth a good example for himself, I believe, in front of the committee and myself. I ended up offering him the position in which he accepted. I believe starting wage, we budgeted for 17 uncertified, and then 18 once certification is complete. And then along with a 2-year certification agreement once the academy starts.
And what was the, I didn't get the dollar amount, 17 more?
7, oh, go ahead. You can,
$17 an hour uncertified, and then as soon as certification is complete, 18.
So 17 flat and then 18?
flat.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And then he mentioned that there's a kind of a 2-year commitment after that certification process starts. So from that time, there's a 2-year commitment to maintain an officer status for the city of Alcester.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes,
are the penalty terms specified in that agreement?
Yes.
If they would happen to leave early?
Yes.
our finance officer says yes.
Okay, thank you.
And I saw the chief nodding. You might not have been able to hear that. So, we would need a motion to hire Grayson Lass as currently an uncertified full-time police officer for the city of Alcester. A second, and then we would need to vote on that.
Mr. Mayor, I will make a motion to hire Grayson Lass at $17 an hour as an uncertified full-time police officer.
I'll second it.
And the pattern is broken. All right. So, Dave made the motion to hire officer, soon-to-be officer, Grayson Lass, as an uncertified officer, and Cindy seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Linda, how do you vote?
aye.
Cindy,
Aye.
Dave,
Aye.
and Darla.
Aye.
All 4 voted aye. Congratulations,
Thank you.
Grayson. Officer Lass, that's what I will call you, because it's gonna be a lot easier than saying any of that other stuff anyway, so. For me, it's still taking quite a while to call him chief. It's always been Officer Sculler, so it's gonna take a little while, but.
Do you have any idea on the academy?
I do not as of now,
Okay,
but I will be speaking with them shortly.
okay, sounds good.
And I believe, if I'm correct in this, the end of this week, he will be in his employment. Saturday?
Yes, sir. I believe tomorrow we're gonna go down to Union County to get him sworn in as a officer. So it's official.
Nice.
Saturday, first day.
Okay, so I don't know if you could either hear that, either of you could hear that, but the chief expressed affirmative that Officer Lass will begin his employment Saturday, the next beginning of pay period. And tomorrow, he and the chief will be going down to the county to have Officer Lass sworn in. And that way, he can't get away. Yeah,
Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
I said thank you. Anything else you'd like to add at this time, or?
I didn't bring stats or anything, I'll have stat update next
Yeah.
meeting and
Beginning of the next month? Sounds good. Congratulations. I know that's, Chief, I know this has been a long, hard road to hoe, but there is light at the end of the tunnel, so.
it's getting brighter.
And as we mentioned a little bit ago, sometimes the wheels turn slowly, but they do turn, so. Thank you both.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, we will now move on to item number 7, medical cannabis ordinance number 2021-16. This would be the second reading of this ordinance. I will need a motion, a second, and a vote to approve that second reading.
I did not put it in your packets this time because I assumed you had it from last time.
Right.
I'll make a motion to approve the second reading of ordinance number 2021-16, an ordinance amending City of Alcestor revised municipal ordinances Title IV licenses by adding Chapter 4.04, which enacts licensing provisions for cannabis establishments, and for the repeal of all resolutions and ordinance in conflict therewith.
I'll second.
Okay, so I'm gonna let Cindy go with it. Cindy seconded. It was Linda that made the motion. And she made the motion as it is written for ordinance number 2021-16 in item 7A on our agenda. She read it exactly as it is written, so I'm not going to reread that. Is there any discussion?
I've heard very positive comments, Dave, on what was put in the paper explaining this. So thanks for doing that. I didn't even know it was in there, and then someone said that was really good putting in the paper, so.
Did you hear that, Dave?
No.
Darla said she has heard very good comments regarding what was put in the paper, the letter that you had put in, kind of outlining the reasoning behind all of those ordinances that were dealt with at the last
Yeah.
meeting. Well done.
Thank you.
So, is there any other discussion at this time? If not, Linda, how do you vote?
Aye.
Cindy?
Aye.
Dave?
Aye.
And Darla?
Aye.
4 voted aye. Second reading has been approved. The next bullet point is letter B, and it is also ordinance 2021-17. It also deals with, I guess, the zoning that allows for the cannabis dispensaries, the medical cannabis dispensaries.
I'll make a motion to approve the second reading of ordinance number 2021-17, or an ordinance entitled an ordinance to amend Chapter 1, General Provisions, Chapter 6, Central Business District, Chapter 7, Highway Commercial District, Chapter 10, Additional U.S. regulations, and Chapter 19, definitions of the 2018 revise Alcester zoning regulations and the repeal of all resolutions and ordinances in conflict therein or therewith.
Mr. Mayor, I second that.
Motion was made by Cindy and seconded by Dave to approve the second reading of ordinance number 2021-17, read exactly as it is printed on the agenda under 7B. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Linda, how do you vote?
Aye.
Cindy?
Aye.
Dave?
Aye.
And Darla?
Aye.
Four vote aye. Second reading of ordinance 2021-17 has also been approved. We will now move on to number 8, legal updates. Mr. Nelson.
I don't have any at this time.
None at this time. All right. I don't know if we have any real updates from any of these.
I have 2 comments.
Okay.
Regarding the community center, tomorrow we will be paving 6th Street and Park Avenue.
Nice.
So as of 8:15 tomorrow, that area will be blocked off. They're gonna try not to completely close 6th Street, but I did tell Mr. Reed to advise the school to use the alternative route. And I believe it'll be closed for a day and a half.
Where's 6th Street?
The one that goes by the pool, this
Oh.
one right up here.
Okay.
The other thing is some golf members got together and they would like to create a golf advisory board. The golf advisory board would probably be made up of two members of the men's league, 2 members of the ladies league, and possibly a council person, and 2 members of the community. And the purpose of this would be to talk about items, issues, comments, things that get brought up, and then there would be a spokesperson that would take it to the golf course. And before we move any more forward on that, just wondering what your comments or thoughts are on that. If you think it's a good idea, something they should continue with or not.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
Pat had brought this up to me before I left on vacation. This should be named as an advisory group, has no regulatory power, can only offer advice to the council or to the golf committee chair. And I guess I would think maybe the golf committee chairman should be a person that's involved with this committee.
That does make sense, yes. So really, it's a board, you know, in Salem, which is not a municipal course, it's a country club. But we had a board, and we did have the ability to act. But it was a country club, it wasn't municipal, where here, anything really that's done has to be acted on by you folks. So, it's a good point, Dave.
It might not be it might be a good idea to have the person that's running the clubhouse, so to speak, be involved with that too. But then you probably need an odd number.
Well, that's not a bad idea, but keep in mind that, I mean, anything that they actually vote on is just to bring something to the city council, not not to actually officially act on something, so.
Correct, yeah. Okay. Point taken.
Does that sound like something you guys would recommend? 'Cause
I think it's a great idea. The more people that are involved in the community and the more people that are aware of what's going on out there and how much it costs to maintain it, et cetera, the better.
All right.
So we had a little bit of street, we had a little bit of golf course.
Mr. Mayor, a
Yeah.
little bit more on the golf course. We've got a big group coming in, I think it's Saturday. So the golf course will be pretty much taken over by that group. And then the following Tuesday, the 28th, is the day we're going to poke holes in all the greens and top dress with new sand.
Oh, sure.
So the golf course will basically be closed for at least a day, maybe a day and a half, when we do that, so.
So you only plug the greens, you don't plug into any of the fairway?
No. No,
Why is that? I don't know.
and I have something for the library when you get to that.
Well, Darla just asked, why is that? Isn't it because the grass on the greens actually can bind itself up and really kind of almost choke itself off and kill itself if you don't aerate it?
Yeah,
Loosen it.
we're poking holes in it, and the sand allows, that we put in, back in the holes, allows the water and nutrients to get down to the roots, so that the grass grows back in even better condition than it was before.
The thing that they run on it it's got tubes, and those tubes go into the ground, and then it comes up and pop, 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 and you can just see those little plugs, and they're laying all over the place.
I have another question. Why is there a big pile of dirt at the swimming pool on the inside?
Lonnie wanted to investigate if we were having some shrinkage or sinkage of the deck, the pool decking.
Oh, okay.
Well, a few years ago, I think it was 2014 or 2015, we got a group of people together and we mixed up crete, and we put that layer of crete all the way around the outside to enclose that gap so people wouldn't stub their toes from it. And the area on the southwest corner broke away. And Lonnie felt like maybe that was sinking. So he wanted to, and the plumbing is right underneath that. So he wanted to see if there was a bad line going back to the house, the pool house. So we had Waterman come in there with his mini excavator and excavate that out.
Oh, okay.
And then they checked the conditions of the lines. And then he's gonna fill that back in and concrete over it.
Oh, okay. Well, I just wondered. A couple other people asked me that. I said, I have no idea.
Yeah.
So, all right. Library, you wanted something.
Oh, yes. I guess, Dave, if you're done about the golf course, you wanted to talk a little bit about the library?
Yes, our librarian has requested that we install a handicapped accessible door to the library. The door is quite heavy, and some of the folks, the younger ones and older ones, have trouble getting in the door. So we got a bid from the ADG group, and they gave us a bid of about $2,500 to install a button on each side, and the mechanism that will allow the door to be opened by pushing the button. And the school board has voted to go half with us on that. So I guess if the, probably at the next meeting, if the council would approve that, we could get going on that.
Did you hear that, Cindy?
a door for handicap?
Correct, handicapped accessible door for the library. Actually, just to make the door handicap accessible, or handicap ADA compliant, we'll put it that way. So really, Dave was talking about, what did you call it, ADG group? They've given him a quote to put the mechanism on that would motorize or electrically open the door and put a button on either side of the door to just push the button and then the door opens and closes.
Oh, kind of like in the, at the building that we have now?
Correct. And the cost is $2,500, and the school has already voted that they would pay for half of it if the city would pay for half of it. So it's basically being asked by Mr. Larsen to add that to the agenda for the next meeting so that we can act on that.
Okay.
We'll definitely add it to the agenda.
Thank you.
Water, wastewater, I don't think there's anything really new. Cemetery, we're going to be discussing later. Police, we have really new news there, but it's already been discussed. How about the finance office?
We're good.
Good right now. In that case, we will retire item number 9 and move on to item 10 on the back page. Office building door. One of the things that should be made known is that, I believe it was that ADG door company again, City Glass, isn't that right?
No,
Oh,
City Glass is a different company
Okay.
than ADG.
okay, so City Glass has already come here and performed a little bit of magic and did put that Band-Aid on the door and got the hinge so that it's holding the door correctly and it does open and close. It too is a very heavy door, and I think if I was a lot of people, I'd push the button, but that seems to work. Anyway, we'll go on with the discussion about ADG door quote and City Glass. I believe that you said that you had gotten more information from Jamie, or have you not?
I did not get confirmation on him from, or I did not get confirmation from him regarding industrial board. So,
So it's still kind of up in the air.
correct.
I would like to ask Pat if she has received a quote from City Glass.
Yes, it is part of your, I thought it was part of your packet. City Glass came in at $9,885. Automatic Door Group came in at $8,990.
City Glass, the company that
Repair.
Do I understand the difference being that City Glass is going to replace the top part, the circular part also?
Automatic Door Group is replacing the new frame for the curved glass as well. Or no, not included in that, you are correct.
Dave, did you at one time allude to the fact that City Glass was talking about an aluminum door?
Yeah, both of these, I think bids are aluminum.
That is correct, both are aluminum.
Well, I guess I didn't.
The difference, they're identical quotes with respect to 42-inch door. We priced it out. ADG was a door, a half door on the west side. According to City Glass, it said it really wasn't going to make that much difference if it was a side light or an actual door. And 42-inch door is a standard size door for all apartment buildings, so moving furniture or large items should not be an issue, so.
Actually, having a side light would probably make it a little easier when all is said and done. First of all, the aluminum's going to make the door so much lighter, it's going to be easier for everybody. So,
I worked at the thrift store this
Saturday.
Monday, a week ago, and it was horrible getting that door to open. I couldn't even get it to lock. Finally, I put that thing at the bottom and just left it open. Right?
Did you came in tonight, were you able to open it?
Yeah, I could too.
Yeah, it's amazing how easy, I was
But
kind
I
of
don't know
shocked.
how an older person could
Yeah.
have even opened it.
I know.
It was frustrating. The whole thing, to even lock and open is,
Well, yeah, we do have an email from Andy Hanish, City Glass and Blazing.
I would say, I don't know what the thrift store makes, but I would even ask them for a donation for it. I mean, people in here, to me, should be, other than just us.
And we don't know yet though what the investor board might.
We don't have a meeting scheduled, so I can't give you an answer on that.
What do we do in the meantime? Do we wait till we know how much we have to contribute?
Well,
We can, I don't have the repair bill from City Glass. What he did, there was actually 2 pieces that were broken. The top hinge was cracked, so he replaced that. And then he put all new screws in. So that
Have you
does,
had any trouble since he did that? Everything is,
right,
like, who knows how long?
exactly. And City Glass said the same thing. It's an older door. He said it's no different than if you had a leaky window in your house. You can put the,
Band-Aid.
yes, but there's no guarantee how long it lasts, so. But, I mean,
Does the industrial board meet? How often do they meet?
we meet when we usually meet for sure by the end of the year, because we talk about either end of year things and current year, or projected year things. So we probably will be having a meeting, I would say November.
it's kind of like HRC. We have a meeting in the fall-ish, you know, spring-ish.
But we have the information. I mean, I'm okay with waiting until we get confirmation from industrial board, and
As long as it keeps.
as long as it holds.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I will have a repair bill with City Glass, but I don't know how much it'll be, but I can't imagine it'll be a lot.
Did you happen to ask City Glass about that little corner thing, you know, that they had installed over there? Because I would think that acting as a hinge too, would take some of the weight off of those screws that are on the hinges.
I didn't ask City Glass that, but I did ask ADG that,
Oh.
and that is an alternative.
Well,
I don't know how much it costs to do, but
And
it is.
again, I mean, that would be, I mean, let's just say $100 or $200 or $300. That beats the heck out of 10,000 or 9,000, you know.
To do what now?
Well, if you look at this top corner.
This side over here?
Yeah.
The west
Okay.
side.
There's kind of an unusual looking hinge outside the door,
Okay,
right in the corner.
On the top.
And
okay.
its job is just taking some of the weight off of that, because that's where the largest amount of leverage is.
Okay.
So it's taking some of that weight off the door. Same thing would apply over here. If we take that and put that up in the other corner, it'll take some of that weight off. Maybe those hinges will last a little longer, maybe it'll buy us some time. I don't know. I have to assume it's a lot cheaper than any of what we're talking about. I mean,
Sure.
how much can a hinge cost? Like I say, if it's made out of glass or gold, it would be 1,000.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes,
I was up here and met with the guy with City Glass when he was working on the door, and he said he did not have one of those special type support hinges, but he was pretty sure he could get one.
I wonder,
Just like ADG.
I wonder if it'd be a good idea to touch base maybe with both of them and just get an idea what it would cost to get it in there. I mean, ADG's already been working on the door, now so is City Glass, but if either one of them is willing to put in something like that, again, it would at least keep it from falling apart before everybody does have their meeting, I think. does everybody think? Should we at least try to touch base with them and see what they've got to say?
Do you have a preference which company?
Sounds good to me.
Well, maybe the city glass one, since they just did something.
Both people have done.
They both have done something. okay.
ADG was just here working on the buttons and so on,
Okay,
so,
And ADG was the one that said we could put that special hinge on the top.
I
But
don't have a preference, whatever.
I don't have a problem with contacting ADG. If you've already talked to them about that,
okay.
we should at least find out. I mean, if they come back and they say, yeah, it's gonna be $3,000, well then, no, we'll put that $3,000 toward a new door if that's what we're gonna do.
Perfect.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes,
I guess, I'm glad we're waiting until we meet with the group that owns the building. I'm not real happy with putting a bunch of city money in a building we don't own.
right?
So, well, I'm glad we're looking into that more, waiting until the meeting.
I'm glad to see that they were as successful as they were in just repairing it so far. So, item 16 is basically a wait and see. In that case, excuse me, that's not 16, that's 10. Well, I drew a line through it and it looks like a 6 now, so item 10 is no longer an item. So, we'll move on to item 11, finance office updates.
Any questions or anything that you would like to talk about with respect to the budget?
Cindy and Dave, did you hear that? Any questions or anything you'd like to talk about regarding the budget?
No, I think we went through it very thoroughly last meeting, and there shouldn't be any changes after that, so.
Well, we do have the luxury of minor changes, but not anything major without going back to a first reading situation, in which case, then we would be forced to have another meeting in September to get it all approved. Keeping in mind, folks, that just because something's in the budget doesn't mean that it's necessarily going to happen. It may not because of some constraints. Something else could happen. Who knows? All of a sudden, if the door breaks, guess what? We may have to put in a door real quickly. And that's not in the budget. So,
Yeah.
so regarding the budget presentation and motion to approve the second reading, you'll see one of the things you do have is the 2022 appropriation ordinance. That's the item that gets posted in the paper. That's the budget in a nutshell, or a summation of the budget. We would need a motion, a second, and to vote on that.
The only thing, I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor, the only thing that I had a issue with, I had stated about already, was in regard to not raising the rent on the barn, so everything was taken care of as far as their doors.
Right.
Like having the front door looked at and then receiving the back door. I haven't heard whether, I know that we're still waiting, or at least I think we are still. Like they've gone.
I think we are still waiting, but I believe that it's kind of imminent now. And I can't remember the gentleman's name.
Casey Garrison.
Casey Garrison did respond to the finance officer's questioning multiple times over multiple months as to why it was taking so long and when it was going to be accomplished. And he did reply, and it made it sound like it was going to happen very soon. In fact, I was under the impression that maybe it would have already happened from the reply I saw, but I don't believe it has. So it might not be a bad idea to probably readdress that with him and just verify. But I believe it is gonna happen very soon. And when he's here, I think it's a good time to say, we'd like you to take a look at the front door, and again, what can be done to beef this up? What, is there anything that can be done to beef it up aside from just replacing the whole blasted thing?
Yeah, I don't think the door needs to be, I think that, I'm sure that it's something that can be done to keep it without replacing it. I
More,
don't think it needs to be replaced.
more secure.
Yeah, reinforce it or something.
Yeah. So,
Mr. Mayor,
yes,
I've looked at that too. I appreciate Cindy's concern over that. I think it amounts to the striker plate has too big an opening. So when the door, the deadbolt door is locked, there is a little bit of give in there.
oh, sure,
And I think if the striker plate was removed and something either modified or welded onto it, or, somehow, so that gap isn't as large, then there wouldn't be that play in it.
sure.
And I don't think that would take very long or would cost very much. Someday when they're open, I think it should be just somebody, I could even volunteer to go down and
Well,
pick it off.
and this Casey, when he comes to put in the new door, I mean, he should at least have the wherewithal and the ability to look at it and say, oh yeah, shoot, we replaced, I mean, that strike plate might just be some that replaceable piece.
Yes, and it
So-
could be adjustable too.
Right, so, and like Cindy, you were saying, I mean, it maybe doesn't all need to be replaced, but it does need to be looked at, and that's a good point. So,
But that should be done before January 1st when the new rentals
correct,
come out with the, right.
that makes perfect sense.
Right, thank you.
Yes. Is there any other discussion before I ask for a motion? Hearing none, I need a motion to approve the second reading of the appropriation ordinance for 2022.
I'll make a motion to approve the second reading of the City of Alcester
Mr.
2000
Mayor?
One
I will
moment,
make a
Dave.
motion.
It's being made right now.
2022 appropriation ordinance.
Okay, Darla made the motion to approve the second reading of the City of Alcester 2022 appropriation ordinance.
And I will second.
And Dave seconded that motion. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Linda, how do you vote?
Aye.
Cindy?
Aye.
David?
Aye.
Darla?
Aye.
All four voted aye. Second reading of the appropriation ordinance for 2022 is passed or is approved. You also have a workman's comp roster, and it says motion to approve add-in coverage for,
So every year around budget time, I submit my projected salary information to our workers' comp company for premium. And we were going over different things, and one of the things that came up in discussion is even though we have kept this volunteer list and we update it on a regular basis, and I send it in to them, the only coverage we are paying for is for EMS and fire department. We are not paying coverage for the food pantry, the golf course, HRC, library, and now cemetery. If you are interested in adding workers' comp coverage to those 26 positions, it's $10 per position,
oh, wow.
so.
So these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
It's
9, 10,
26.
11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Well, you said fire department and EMS. All the rest of these are either EMS or fire
There's
department.
some on the back.
There's some on the back.
Oh, those 26.
There's 26.
Thank you. All right then.
I'm sorry, what was it? Did you say $10?
$10
Per individual.
Per individual.
Okay, all right.
So it'd be $260.
And that'd be an annual
Right.
premium.
So all of the HRC, library, cemetery, and golf course food pantry people. Which,
With that in mind, Mr. Mayor, there are some people on the golf course list that I don't believe are volunteering any longer.
We can modify that at the next meeting, because I don't have it on this agenda. But
And there's one probably on the library board too.
do we have a new member for the board?
No?
Okay.
so, that being said, it says motion to approve adding coverage for. Is there somebody to add?
It would be food pantry, golf course, HRC, library board, and cemetery. Because
I see
right
what you're
now,
saying.
workers' comp is not covering those volunteers. Our current coverage only covers ambulance and fire. So I said I would talk to you guys to get your opinion and then proceed.
So we're talking about $250 a year.
Yes,
260
Unless there's some that come off.
right.
and or go on. I mean, it's $10 per individual in those different categories.
I think it'd be a good idea to add that. If we have even one minor accident, it's gonna take care of that cost.
I'm sorry, what was it was food pantry, HRC, golf course, library,
Cemetery,
cemetery. Okay. I agree with Dave. I think, it's, just pick one person.
Yeah, $10 a year is not a bad deal.
so Dave, if you wanna email me the people in golf course, I'll put that on the next agenda.
Okay.
And I know to update the library. And then, I don't know if HRC has any changes, I don't think you do.
Well, not currently. We may have,
Food pantry.
Is Lance on the HRC, because he doesn't,
He's,
he hasn't
Not-
been there since I've been there.
he's not a committee member, but he used to help with the grounds,
Okay.
like if it was really bumpy with
Oh, okay.
gophers.
he has done that. That's why we
Okay, so
did actually
Okay.
vote at an HRC meeting on that. That's
Okay.
right. So we would need a motion to add all of the non-covered volunteers.
I'll make a motion to add coverage for, in addition to the coverage already provided, to the Alcester Food Pantry, Alcester Golf Course, Alcester HRC, Alcester Library Board, and Pleasant Hills Cemetery.
Okay, Linda made, what was that?
I said I would second it.
Okay, so in that case, Linda made the motion, Cindy seconded the motion to add those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections of the volunteer roster list and all of the individuals listed there. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none. Darla, how do you vote?
Yes.
Dave?
Aye.
Cindy?
Aye.
Linda?
Aye.
4 ayes. Motion has been made and seconded and passed. THHM and HAA test results.
So on an annual basis, the city has to pick a centralized location and we test the water results. We used to test at the school, and once the students moved out of the school, we don't test here anymore, so now we test at the Baptist church. And it's the trihalomethane and haloacetic acid. And I provided the test results from 2015 to the present, and we are within limits. We passed our test. So, just letting you know that.
That's good news.
Pass our thanks on to the water department.
Will do.
Yes. There's a little thing in your packet that has to do with Text My Gov. And it's an introduction, allows better communication.
A lady called our office, asked if we were interested in a method of pushing news out to our citizens on a little bit faster rate than just putting things on Facebook. And it just happened to be at a time when we had that issue with the water tower, so I'm like, that might not be a bad idea. So I had a small webinar with her, and then she put together a quote based on our population. So there's a couple of different ways this can be used. Number one, it could be used if we had, so when we sign people up either for utility or the existing patrons that we already have, we would put the word out. If you're interested in receiving text messages, let us have the number that you would be interested in receiving them on. And so then if something happens, if it's a snow alert, if it's something with the Amber Alert with the police, or lost dog, or anything in that nature, or if we have discolored water, or if we're gonna flush the hydrants, I mean, there's just a number of different things that would be a good idea to push out to the people. We could push that out quite quickly. Then the reverse is true. You can also create a centralized response. It's based off of keywords. So we could set up keywords. So if people had a question about building permits, what triggers a building permit? Or if people had a question about agenda or anything like that, we could point them. It looks for keywords in a text message, and then what it does is it sends an auto response back to that person with a link to the website where that might be located. So I just said that I would present this information to the council to see if you guys were interested in that. The first year, it's a package of $3,000 a year, if you're interested in that. The one-time fee is $1,200, so your first year would be $4,200, but every year after that would be $3,000. So, just putting it out there if you're interested.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
we already have a city website, we already have a Facebook, we already have the police sending out information over emails. I don't know why we need to spend money per citizen over the next 2 years to add this.
Good point. It is kind of expensive. I can see where if if it saved a person's life as a result of a tornado or whatever, it would pay for itself. However, we do a pretty good job of communicating, I think.
It sounds like to me that people would have to submit their email to be involved with this.
I think it's texting, right? So it would be your cellular phone number and then your authorization to receive texts, which then, of course, also would give you the opportunity to send that information or questions like Pat was mentioning. So I'm not arguing for it, against it, I'm simply stating the fact that that's the way it's designed, so. If we could re-look at it at another time. I don't think we,
I agree with Dave, I think it's pretty spendy.
Yeah.
I think we have other things maybe that we should
Yes.
spend money.
And the majority of our population is older. My mom has a hard time even sending a text.
Yeah,
Right,
yes,
yeah.
that's true, yes. My
or
mom
or
would
even
say-
getting it.
This would could totally
Yes,
blow her
yeah,
off.
it probably,
You
No
know,
worries, I just said I would present it, it's not a
Yep.
problem.
so that's just my thought, when the
Yeah.
majority are.
yeah, that is true.
So, we will bypass letter D and we'll go on to letter E. You can see that the fall cleanup, the dumpsters, the big roll-offs are going to be here starting tomorrow.
Today.
Today,
Today the 20th, I thought it was the 19th. Oh my gosh. Okay, starting today through October 3rd. And then the city employees are responsible for Meals on Wheels September 27th through October 1st. And I'm sure that any help that we could provide would be welcome.
It would be greatly welcomed because we're short 2 employees during that week.
So one of the things that Wanda just brought up was that help would be very much welcome because the city is short 2 employees that week of September 27th through October 1st. So,
Sorry, I could do it, but I won't be there.
yeah. Well, if we had more than a half-hour lunch, I would be happy to do it too, because I would just take a little bit extra lunch and work a little later, but
I could maybe help on Monday and Friday.
Okay, that would be perfect. I will send out a schedule.
You'll let me know?
Mhm.
Okay.
It's actually quite fun.
oh, I can imagine.
Yeah, those, right now, I don't have anything on those days, so
Okay.
I probably better put it on my calendar. Where that fills it.
All right, item number 12 then is the Alcester Community Center bond closure.
So this is exciting news. The bond that we put out with AMCO was actually bid upon by our local bank. So Premier was the one that took on the bond for the community center. And it's a 20-year bond at 2.5% interest. So yeah, I'm super excited. And we are looking to close on that bond on September 30th. So it's just kind of an FYI, but we had our meeting with bond council Thursday? Is that when we met with them?
Yeah, I think it was Thursday.
So, anyway, I will send you out the amortization schedule. And so you're aware of it and we can talk about it at the next meeting. But yeah, I was very happy.
Great.
That is good news. You can see their next 2 items both have motions to approve. One is the center itself, rental agreement. The other is the golf cart rental agreement. And they've been modified a little bit. Well, one of them's brand new. The golf cart agreement was modified from before, isn't that correct, Dave?
I guess it was yes.
Yeah.
Maybe Sam looked it over too.
He did, and he's got a comment, so I'm actually glad he's here. The golf cart agreement. your comment was something about immobilizing the cart.
Yeah, I don't know what that means. I'm assuming it means unplug the battery or do something so it can't be moved until we get money. I don't want to fiddle with immobilizing people's personal property.
Did you hear that, Dave?
Yeah, I guess I wouldn't be touching it other than maybe putting a chain around it with padlock.
Yeah, I mean, now that, if you're padlocking it to the wall or something around the axle, I got no issue with that. Just so somebody doesn't appear in the middle of the night and not pay their bill. Or, you know, how are they gonna access the storage facility?
Oh, excuse me, how are we gonna access what?
How are they gonna access the cart shed?
Everyone is gonna get a code to punch in on the door.
Okay. Can you disable the code for non-payment?
No, because everybody should have the same code.
Okay.
So then, does that mean every year you'll change the code?
We change it every month,
Oh,
but, no, I guess when we see that there's a problem, somebody's in there that shouldn't be, we may be changing the code, and there's the rental agreement has somebody's email and a phone number, and within a matter of days, we will contact everyone and let them know that the code has been changed and what the new code is.
I get a little heartburn about, the more they think about it, immobilizing somebody's cart in any form. I think there are ways to get our money for non-payment. I want to be careful that we're not keeping somebody's property held over there. Although there are ways legally we can do that, Dave. I think the other option is just if Sam Nelson doesn't pay his bill every year, eventually he just doesn't get to rent a spot for his cart.
But then we're out the money from the last year.
That's true.
or if his card is in there, you change the code, and that individual doesn't get the code. Of course, all they gotta do is stand there and wait for somebody that opens the door and, but, I don't know if there is a good answer to that, but.
So I think we jumped ahead to C on their agenda, but that's fine.
Right, well, yeah.
There is one other thing that is just a minor, there's a misspelling on the agreement, the cart storage rental agreement. Down in the terms where it says in number 2, the second sentence over there by where it has a 5 and number 5 in parentheses, that should not be with, just before that it should be within.
Okay.
So, we have had a little bit of discussion about that, but I think Dave's right. We should focus on letter B.
Oh, okay, so the facility rental agreement. Now, I know the back part is not a complete work in process. Really what I want from you guys is where your comfort zone is with the rental rates and deposit amounts. There's some things that I don't know about yet, and I won't know until the facility is done. I don't know if fog machines will be an issue, so that's why I kind of left that one highlighted and question marked. There might be more things that get added to this. This might be kind of a working document after we get involved in the rental of the facility, but this is kind of based off of the Haywarn rental agreement. So, and we really do want to do our best to keep the event center reasonable so that people will utilize it. So I don't know how you feel about that. And the one in particular that I feel we might get the most comment on is if the chamber rents it, or if the VFW rents it, or the Legion rents it. Right now, the way this is written, that would fall under a nonprofit organization. I don't know where your comfort level is regarding that. And I have half sharing on there and four corner sharing. I'm thinking of graduations, and I know you guys have a limited idea of what that facility looks like, because you probably haven't been in it, but the event hall itself is quite large. And I feel if the people renting it were comfortable with that, we could put dividers up and actually break it off into 2 pieces or 4 pieces, depending on what the event is. So that's where I have the half sharing and 4 corner sharing.
Yeah, I just walked through there the other day, and I think 4 is great for, like you said, a graduation. I mean, if you're gonna have something like a wedding reception, you're gonna want either the whole thing or half of it.
Correct.
And that's the way it was over at the Bridges when we had ours. We could just get half of it if we wanted, or the whole thing, so.
So does the deposit go towards the rent?
Yes. Yep.
Oh, it does go towards the rent? The deposit goes towards rent?
Or, I mean, you could look at it as 6 of one or the other. I mean, it either would go towards the rent or it
Or
would
you
go
get it
toward
back.
or you get it back,
Okay.
yes. So,
So how much are these dividers then? We don't have dividers now.
I don't have them.
Invest in dividers then?
I'm going to, the ones I'm looking at are 6 feet tall, and I think I did 16 or 20 feet long. They're collapsible, and they're about $1,600.
Per? So we have to have 4 of them.
4 or 2, even if I just start out with 2 for the first year, and then, you know, as we start renting it out more and we generate some revenue, then use some of that revenue to purchase more items for the center, but.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Would there be a possibility that for like the VFW, the Legion, and the Chamber of Commerce, that the fee could be waived and just a deposit? Or maybe a cleanup fee if it's a big event?
So you're not saying for any nonprofit organization, but for specific nonprofit organizations?
Well, we don't want to bring the Union County chapter of the Salvation Army in. We're not, maybe.
Well, I'm thinking about, even a church league or something like that.
I think that just naming a few is kind of discrimination.
Yeah, I think you'd be better off just to say that they're getting quite a break.
And this is what Hayward does for nonprofits? They do similar?
Yes, they do.
I should go and look up that information about the
The
bridges.
bridges, yeah.
Yeah.
Quite often in Beersford, when they have graduations and they have 4 of them in there, there's no barriers. It's all,
Wide open.
Mayhem, yeah,
you just go
which,
around.
which
Yeah.
is
All around
fine,
the
I mean,
outside, and they,
yeah,
they're all from the same school, so.
yeah.
Yeah,
Be like having 3 garages in a row in your street and they're all 3 seniors or whatever.
So do we have to make a decision on this tonight?
well, I would like to, because I have events that
They're
are
wanting to
wanting
be-
to book it, and they want to know the rate. And I I don't know what to tell them. All I tell them is that it's reasonable. We're trying to keep it as reasonable as possible, so. So I would like to, at least move forward, and if it's something that we have to change because you feel we start getting a lot of comments, whether good or bad, it's certainly something that can be changed. It would be just like our fee schedule, something that we evaluate every year. So,
Sometimes I wonder if you couldn't give something, I don't, at the top of my head, I can't think what it would be. But I know in Hayward, when we rented it, if you use local business, you got money off.
mhm.
So.
I mean, like a caterer or
Yeah,
something
like
like
if
that.
you use, and even, we use Central, and we're just 6 miles, so we use Central, so we got $50 or something off.
Yeah.
If we ordered our tuxedos from that place, we got money off. That would take, if you could have some kind of incentive in that to keep your business local.
Yeah,
We don't have a lot of businesses that do anything.
well, that's true.
Well, we have flowers and,
Well, could we use Hayward in the same way? They used up, we got the benefit just from using Hayward.
But then you were in Hayward too. So maybe
Yeah,
that's
that's
the
true.
difference. I don't know.
I don't know how Hayward can do that, because we have a city employee who is using the Hayward Community Center for their wedding, and she said that if they spent $3,000 in Hayward and their rent was,
Yeah, it cut it way down.
Waived.
Really?
Wow.
now I realize we don't have all the amenities that Hayward
No, we
does,
don't.
but it is a tremendous thing.
I mean, down the road, we don't know, but if our own people catered it, if it was a small enough, then maybe it would waive something here.
Right.
If they would, if we could build it that way,
I like your thought.
Yeah.
There's
I
going
don't
to
know.
be an expense having an event there.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's going to be the cleanup. There's going to be setup if they want assistance with setting up the tables and chairs. So it's hard for me to say that it would be free, but
like we paid more than we were the day before.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And that's where this
Not-
$50 thing comes in,
Yeah,
right?
and we paid more if, of course, we just paid it right off the top. It was an added fee to clean up.
Mhm.
We paid that extra $100 right off the top. And I'd pay that over and over again.
So
Yeah.
that cleaning fee is only $35?
that's a meeting room.
Okay, so what is it to clean the $100 to clean the whole thing?
The,
Maybe if you have dining room with cleaning fee?
that would be the golf course dining room side.
Okay, so what is it to clean the?
That is part of the,
Is that
Deposit.
included in, it's already included?
Yes.
So that, okay, so then they don't have to worry about doing that? Yeah.
right,
Because, yeah, definitely, who wants to do that afterward?
exactly.
Well, this is a good stake in the ground. Like you said, at least it gives us the ability to say to somebody, we're trying to make it as reasonable as possible. Please keep in mind that it won't necessarily stay this way forever.
Right.
I think this is a good start, Sylvia. I'm in favor.
Instead of suit. I just noticed that.
What was that? Where is it?
Oh, a typo
Just a
on
little, but just one.
2E.
Yeah, no.
You got the typo on E?
Yeah, yeah.
So we will start with.
Must be sued.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
I didn't hear what you said, Dave. What would you like to do?
He said it's a good starting point.
Yeah.
I'm in favor of approving this.
Okay.
Okay, well, we've had quite a bit of discussion over 12B. Is there any more prior to making a motion? If not, I would welcome a motion, a second, and a vote.
I'll make a motion to approve the center rental rates as set out in the.
I would second.
Linda made the motion, Dave seconded the approval of the City of Alcester Center rental rates, excuse me, and rules. That's the document anyway. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Darla, how do you vote?
Aye.
David?
Aye.
Cindy? Cindy?
Aye.
Linda?
Aye.
4 vote aye. Passed. Now we can go on to cart rental agreement. We already know that terms number 2 within 5 days, not with 5 days.
Number 5 is what we need.
Well, yeah, 5, notice that it says or.
I don't think you could move the cart from the cart shed, that would be like theft,
Absconding,
wouldn't it?
yeah.
No?
I mean, at some point, you know, it's abandoned or it's holding up the show, probably. It's kind of like towing a car in the parking lot, you know. You'd have it removed.
So what can we do with that one?
I direct your attention to the word may.
Okay,
Let's say it's gonna happen. It's in there as something that we could do if,
okay.
I mean, the other thing,
it doesn't work.
the other thing to keep in mind is, at some point, we're contracting for this, right? I mean, this is an agreement between two
Right.
people, so if I
Okay.
say, yeah, you can get rid of my golf cart if I haven't paid my bill,
Then we should.
I've authorized
Yeah.
it.
Sounds
Or at least you've authorized that we can put a boot on it, not necessarily a boot, but like you say, a chain around it or.
Yeah, it's a two-way street when people sign one of these things.
Sure. Okay, is there any other discussion regarding this cart rental agreement? If not, we need a motion, second, and vote.
I make a motion to approve the car rental agreement.
I'll second it. Oh,
Okay, I'm gonna go on that stupid thing. We have a motion by Dave and a second by Cindy to approve the cart rental agreement for the Alcester golf cart storage unit. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none. Darla, how do you vote?
Aye.
David?
Aye.
Cindy?
Aye.
And Linda?
Aye.
All voted yes, that passes. Item number 13 deals with executive session for personnel.
I would make a motion to enter an executive session pursuant to SDCL 1-25-2-1.
I'll second.
Okay, I'm gonna go with Cindy again because, all right. Linda made the motion to enter into executive session pursuant to SDCL 1-25-2, parent 1. Linda made the motion, Cindy seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. Linda, how do you vote?
Aye.
Cindy?
Aye.
David?
Aye.
And Darla?
Aye.
4 vote yes, and it is 7:33 p.m. And I will, Gordon's not still here, huh?
No.
I will say that we are out of executive session at 8:48 p.m. Which leaves us item 14A and B. I guess it doesn't matter to me. If we're going to have a motion, let's deal with the mowing of the cemetery, hauling snow, etc. part-time position first.
I would make a motion to hire James Anderson at a rate of $15 an hour
I'll second
for
that.
the mowing cemetery and utility work positions.
I'll second that.
Dave made the motion and Linda seconded the motion to hire James Anderson as a part-time worker for cemetery mowing, utility works such as snow removal, etc. at a rate of $15 per hour. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Linda, how do you vote?
Aye.
Cindy?
Aye.
David?
Aye.
And Darla?
Aye.
Four vote aye. James Anderson is hired. Now, if we look at the part-time position that would be considered landfill and still some, if necessary, snow removal, I mean, maybe even some weed eating or mowing if necessary. But again, part-time position. I would need a motion to hire someone for that position.
I'll make a motion to hire Mitch Merrick as part-time landfill, snow removal, possible weed eating at $15 an hour.
I'll second that.
Darla made the motion to hire Mitch Merrick, and Linda seconded the motion to hire Mitch Merrick at a rate of $15 an hour for landfill, landfill monitor and other various mowing, snow removal as necessary. Is there any discussion at this time? Hearing none. Darla, how do you vote?
Aye.
David?
Aye.
Cindy?
Aye.
And Linda?
Aye.
Four vote aye, and Mitch Merrick is hired as a part-time worker as well. Well, the only other thing that's on the agenda is item number 15.
I'll make a
Motion
motion.
to adjourn the council.
I'll second it.
Cindy made the motion to adjourn the council. Darla seconded it. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Linda, how do you vote?
Aye.
Cindy?
Aye.
David?
Aye.
Darla?
Aye.
Four vote aye. The council is adjourned at 8:51 p.m.
All righty.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you all.
Have a